video is sponsored by the Level 8 Black Friday sale. Check it out at the link below. Did you know Cuba not only has trains but a comprehensive railway network? Well, me neither until a few years ago, and ever since then I've wanted to try it out. This whole journey was a crazy travel experience from start to finish, so join me and let's check out the Caribbean's only railway network together. Welcome to Havana. This city has been so high on my travel bucket list for over 20 years and finally I'm here. It's such a vibe. The people are friendly, the music is non-stop, the rum is free-flowing, and it's a place you have to experience yourself to fully understand. If you don't speak English, be sure to turn on the closed caption subtitles as they're translated into 140 languages for you. I don't yet have a ticket for the train from Havana to Santa Clara that I intend to take today, with the buying process starting around 10 hours before we are due to leave. There are no online purchases for Cuban railways, you have to physically go to the station or a Viajero ticket office and queue up. But that is an excuse to see more of the beautiful sights of the capital up close. The best way I can describe it is living in the 1950s but with Wi-Fi and 4G, albeit limited. It's around a 15-minute trike or 10-minute taxi ride from Havana city centre to the area where the stations are located. En route we pass Havana Central Station, where we would normally depart from, but it is currently under a large refurbishment project. What a beautiful building though. Then, a bit further on is the Freight and Loco Yard, which is located next to La Cuba station, where we'll be departing from today. I just followed all the locals into this large waiting room, took a seat, and waited, and waited, and waited, and waited some more. I'm not going to pretend that I understood the process entirely, however, after waiting for around 4 hours and chatting in Spanish to one of the guys that was doing the organising and slipping him a $10 bill, shortly after I had a second-class ticket with an allocated seat number in my hand for the 6:25 departure of train number 7 tonight. Then back to the station around 5 PM, both excited and apprehensive about what was to follow. The entrance to the concourse and waiting room is around the side of the station building 50 metres beyond the ticket office. It was certainly a lot livelier here than earlier on, with large family groups and street vendors gathered around the outside on this hot August afternoon. I had read online that you have to have your ticket confirmed at least an hour prior to departure, or they will resell it to someone on the waiting list even though you've already paid for it. This is what the lady at the station entrance door was explaining to me, but it seems I'd already had a confirmation stamp on the rear of my ticket. Maybe this is a perk of the $10 bribe? Once inside, my first impressions are that there's so many people and wow, it's super hot in here. It was 35 degrees outside, it certainly felt above 45 in here. There are a few shops selling drinks and snacks in the centre of the concourse, and down the far end is another waiting room, another entrance and toilets. While we wait for news of the departure, let's take a seat and allow me to tell you about today's amazing video sponsor, Level 8. The massive Level 8 Black Friday sale is now on. Level 8 luggage is even better value this November with 20% off the Voyager, Free Loop and Captain cases right now. Just click my link below and use code BFSPREE at checkout. What I love about Level 8 luggage is the stunning design and amazing features such as heavy duty TSA approved locks and ultra quiet 360-degree durable spinner wheels. I never leave home without my Level 8 case now. And it gets even better from the 19th of November as the main event starts with a 20% discount off everything. Just click the link above now or in the description below. As scheduled departure time came and went, the station was now even busier and no one seemed to know what was happening. I spoke to a staff member who said that the delay was expected to be around 1 hour, so I just sat down again and waited. I found a window to look out from, and there was some movement of coaches from the sidings, which was a good sign, and the train finally reversed into the platform around 1 hour late at 7:30 PM. This obviously meant we would be leaving soon, right? Think again. This evening we'll be hauled by two Chinese-built Dongfeng 7GC diesel locomotives. These have a maximum in-service speed of 120 km per hour and a power output of 1,840 kilowatts per loco. Trailing is a rake of Chinese-built coaches which were delivered to Cuban railways in 2019. It's great to see investment in new rolling stock and locos. There are a couple of first-class coaches which have AC, and the rest are second-class coaches without AC, where we'll be travelling today. We'll still have a little wait before we're allowed to board, so in the meantime, let's check out this evening's route from Havana to Santa Clara, making just 3 intermediate stops en route. Finally, the boarding scrum commences after another 30 minutes and we are allowed through to the platform. There is an attendant stationed at every coach door to check tickets and IDs before you're allowed on board. It takes forever. At last it's my turn, and I'm finally on board my first and probably last Cuban train. These Chinese-built second-class coaches are laid out in a 2+2 configuration, and on first impressions they don't look too bad. All seats rotate to face the direction of travel, and as mentioned there is no AC, only opening windows and ceiling fans. Luggage can be stored behind the last row of seats or on the large overhead racks. The boarding process went on forever. I have no idea how it could be so slow, but here we are. Take note, it's still bright daylight outside, over an hour to board the train. And now it's sunset. And we finally leave in the pitch black just before 9 PM, over 2.5 hours late. This 278 kilometre journey is scheduled to take 5 hours and 18 minutes of travel time. Let's put aside the $10 bribe I paid earlier for a moment. The price of this second class ticket was 30 Cuban pesos. Using the official exchange rate, if you withdrew cash from an ATM in Cuba, this works out around $1.25. First class was 48 Cuban pesos, or around $2 official. However, the readily available black market US dollar to Cuban peso rate which I got in Havana made this ticket actually only cost me around 10% of that. Yes, that's right, around 13 cents for a train journey of over 5 hours. Here you can see the full price list for our train number 7 between Havana and Manzanillo. Train 7 departs Havana every 4 days, as do the other mainline long distance services trains 1, 3 and 5 on alternating days. See the timetable from the time of filming here. Please don't use this as gospel to plan a trip though, they only release running days for each service month by month. I was pre-warned that booking this train was going to be an almighty pain in the bum, and allowed myself lots of flexibility across my week in Cuba and only booked the rest of my itinerary after this train journey. Advance warning, there isn't going to be a lot to see out of the windows on this trip. Let's rewind to daylight at the station and check out the seats. They are really well padded, have a nice shape, adjustable armrests and a good recline. The legroom is endless due to their ability to rotate. There's a storage net and good sized tray table, along with coat hooks, reading lights which did work later, and curtains at the window. The windows opened around halfway for ventilation. There are no power sockets or Wi-Fi available. Tickets are checked and then collected. I asked if I could keep mine, but it was a definite no. I decided to go for a walk as I'd heard there was a buffet of sorts, but as soon as I tried to go further than the toilet, I was turned back to my seat. I guess we'll just check out the toilets then. They were basic, but functional. By that, I mean they flushed and had tap water. Don't expect luxuries like toilet paper or soap though, as you'll be disappointed. I guess there's not much more to do than sit back and relax by the open window. Luckily it had cooled down a lot by now and is a very comfortable temperature. A lady did come around selling cheese sandwiches. I can't remember how much it was, but it was basically free. After I'd eaten this, I actually dozed on and off for most of the remainder of the journey and only woke up to the attendant shouting "Santa Clara" at the top of her voice. So I guess I should summarise this Cuban Railways experience from Havana to Santa Clara in second class. Well, an experience it certainly was. Not one that I'm sure I'd ever like to repeat, but I'm glad I've done it, if for no other reason than for your entertainment. Honestly, on board the train was fine, it was clean and comfortable enough, and I basically paid nothing. For comparison and choice, the Via Azul tourist bus service, which you're meant to take, is bookable online, runs twice a day instead of every 4 days, and takes around an hour less at 4.5 hours. However, this costs €22. I have made a video on this bus service between Trinidad and Havana, and will release this early next year. Buying the ticket and the delays took longer than the actual journey, which is ridiculous. Yes, I know these trains are not aimed at tourists, but they could be. Investment has been made with new locomotives and coaches, but now they need to work on improving frequency and reliability. We finally arrive at 2:10 AM. If we'd left on time, we'd have actually been 6 minutes early. I certainly don't envy the people who are continuing on all the way to Manzanillo, which is another 13.5 hours of travel time. Stay tuned until the end and I'll show you a few sights of this delightful Cuban city. I wish I could have spent more than one night here. Taxis are available outside the station, and for a couple of dollars I was at my hotel around 10 minutes later and in bed just after 2:30 AM. Have you been on any trains in lesser travelled parts of the world before? If so, on which routes and in which countries? How did you find them? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next video.